Over under 5 quarterbacks taken in the first round next year. Are you going over or under?
I think that's right on the money. I will say this. I have 14 quarterbacks rated already for next year, 14 legitimate quarterbacks, not to mention the 2 that I now have to add to my list, thanks to Andrew. 14 quarterbacks, a lot more than there were in last year's class. I mean, what do we see, 8 drafted? So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more quarterbacks drafted, but we haven't seen 6 in the first round yet. So maybe next year's the year, but there's not that clear-cut Trevor Lawrence type guy headed into the year. It'll be a lot of players who have to develop and ascend, whether that's, Sam Howell at North Carolina after losing his top 2 receivers and top 2 running backs. Keaton Slovis has a ton of playmakers around him. His offensive line is going to be a little bit young, but there's not that established big name right now.
All right, run down some of the other quarterbacks here. At least we can keep an eye on this upcoming season.
Well, I don't want to inflate your ego too much here, Dan, but you hit the nail on the head with Carson Strong. That's my dude for next year. And I thought he was going to be the guy where I would get to come in here in like August and puff my chest up and be like,
this is the Nevada
there's a quarterback in Nevada.
Yeah.
He's good, though, 6'4", 220. He's got a huge arm. He can do enough off platform. I hate comparing players when they have the same name. It feels lazy. But when you watch him, you see a lot of Carson Wentz. Like, he's a big quarterback with a big arm and good mobility. So I would not be surprised if he ends up the number 1 quarterback next year. Spencer Rattler has been in Oklahoma, it feels like forever, but he's actually just a third-year player. If you're looking for this year's Kyler Murray or Zach Wilson, the undersized quarterback who's just going to run around in the pocket and make crazy things happen, I think Spencer Rattler is one of those players. Malik Willis at Liberty is another who McLovin mentioned. Malik Willis, 6'1", 210. He is an electric athlete, probably has the strongest arm in next year's class. But then there are kind of your traditional powers. Sam Howell at North Carolina, Phil Jurkovec, who transferred from Notre Dame to Boston College and looks like he will be an NFL-level quarterback. So plenty of guys to fall in love with between now and Labor Day when we kick this thing back off.